Each year in the United States, thousands of major crimes go unsolved. When the case has gone cold and police have nowhere to turn, they seek assistance from the public. This is a program dedicated to solving these cases. This is Crime Stoppers Case Files.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for another Northeast Ohio edition of Crime Stoppers Case Files. I'm Bob Frantz. There are over 1,400 Crime Stoppers organizations operating around the world. These organizations empower citizens like you to become directly and anonymously involved in fighting crime in our own local communities. We are seeing a positive impact of this every day in Northeast Ohio. Crime Stoppers is an important law enforcement tool. It's a proactive approach to removing dangerous criminals from the streets and making them safer for everyone. Each week on this television program, we'll share facts with you from unsolved cases, and you'll have the opportunity to submit information that may help investigators, possibly earning yourself a cash reward in the process, and without ever having to give your name. Let's get to work. On March 30th, 2006, 24-year-old Brittany Moir was at a small restaurant on Lorraine Avenue near West 50th Street in Cleveland. She left with someone, and hours later, she was thrown from a truck near the same restaurant. She sustained critical injuries that would claim her life 3 years later. Here's the story.
My wife and I waited 10 years to have Brittany, and when she entered our lives, she was very special to us. We were well in our 30s at the time. Great kid, did a lot of different things. She loved to dance, she liked various sports, very proficient in volleyball, good student. She graduated from North Royalton High School and went on to community college. And at that point, she had a child, which really causes a lot of hardships in going to school, but she was able to do it with the help of her mom and dad. My wife, Kathy, and myself have been married for close to 40 years now, and Brittany has been a very important part of our life. Brittany also had a daughter, which she raised and looks exactly like her, and is a great kid as well, has much the same personality and quite the same luster for life. The thing with Brittany was she just always had a smile on her face, and no matter who she was with or who she participated with in sports or friendships, she just always was a happy-go-lucky kid who enjoyed life.
The area where this occurs is West 50th and Lorraine. It's a residential area primarily. There are some businesses, some restaurants, some small car dealerships on the corners. It is primarily still a residential area. On March 30th, 2006, Miss Moir is seen inside the restaurant with two males, unknown males. Miss Moir orders some food. She exits the store, and then she returns shortly thereafter. She's seen talking to another gentleman within the restaurant, and then she exits the store with one male, and then shortly after, the second male follows them out. Brittany Moir leaves the restaurant accompanied by these two males. At that point, we're not sure what happens. Within the next hour, before she's discovered, what we do know is that around 4:49 in the morning, we have a video of a pickup truck, dark in color, that turns southbound on West 50th from Lorraine. The vehicle slows down slightly, then you'll see the passenger door open. At that time, Miss Moir is ejected from the vehicle. The vehicle does keep moving because the momentum of the truck moving forward and her body being ejected from the truck causes her to slide a considerable distance from the middle of the street actually to the curb where she's found. Then the truck continues southbound on West 50th. That is a dead-end street. So once the vehicle gets to the end of the street, it turns around in a parking lot and it heads back northbound on West 50th to get out of the area. So we do get another picture of the vehicle as it comes back, proceeds northbound towards West 50th and then disappears.
In 1975, the first Crime Stoppers organization was formed by a detective who believed media attention helped solve cases. Since then, thousands of Crime Stoppers organizations have been formed around the globe with the same mission, encouraging members of the public to stand up against crime. Every 14 minutes, Crime Stoppers help solve a crime somewhere in the world. Get involved.
On March 30th, 2006, Brittany Moir was thrown from a moving vehicle at West 50th and Lorraine. All we have really to go on is the video with that pickup truck. We did some research. The truck is kind of hard to make out in the video, but it definitely looks to us as though it's a smaller version Ford pickup truck, possibly a Ranger. It may have an extended cab on it. Again, I believe I said it was a dark colored vehicle. Now, the two males that she's seen with inside of the restaurant at 5004 Lorraine, we never were able to locate those males to interview them. Both of them appear to be black males. The video isn't that clear, but I would say that, you know, they're definitely in their mid-20s. And jacket that's seen on the male in the restaurant, it appears to be a black in color jacket. On the left breast of the jacket, it appears to be a cardinal of some type. The sleeves are white, and there's some reddish in the shoulders of the jacket. It's a pretty distinctive jacket when you see it, and actually the male that's wearing it, he appears to be, you know, maybe 5'8", 5'9", medium build, but the jacket definitely does stand out, and we're hoping that somebody that sees that jacket is going to be able to ID it. That morning, Miss Moir was found. She was only partially clothed. She had a blouse on and nothing else on. She was transported to Metro Hospital.
We got a call from the police, and we were told that Brittany was in the hospital as a result of the accident itself. When I entered the hospital to see her, I was brought to the attention of a social worker first, who had cautioned me that the injuries are very severe and that I better be prepared because it was quite bad. And when I did enter the room, it was every bit as bad as they said. She had tubes everywhere, she was unconscious, not capable of handling any type of communication with us.
In early March of 2007, she's transferred from Metro Hospital to a nursing home in Akron. She remained in that nursing home because she sustained such serious injuries to her head, her trunk, limbs. She never fully gained the ability to be able to speak. She was interviewed briefly by the initial detectives in the 2nd District. She wasn't really able to verbalize too much to the detective.
She went through at least over a dozen major surgeries to her brain, suffered not able to eat because she had to eat through a feeding tube. I mean, it was just a horrible life for a 24-year-old child to have to go through.
She remained in a nursing home until December 29th of 2009, and at that time she expired there at the nursing home as a direct result of her injuries sustained from being thrown from that vehicle.
No one's ever going to fill the void that she left, but on the same hand, to have someone pay the price for the crime that was committed is very important to us and even to her child, who to this day, when there's a DARE program or something, she'll always talk to the police and say, "Would you please find who killed my mom?"
If anyone out there has information about the two males that are seen in the restaurant, about the vehicle that you may see on the video, and you can contact Detective Diaz, myself, or my partner, Detective Nate Soa, that's S-O-W-A.
The only thing that's fulfilled anything has been the fact that our granddaughter has stepped into our lives to try to take up some of the void that our daughter left when she passed away. And I hope no one ever has to go through a similar event, and anything that people can do to help other people, I think, is a must. I plead to the people out there listening that they contact Crime Stoppers and let them know if they know anything at all. They don't have to say their name, but just come forward and tell everybody what happened, or if they know anything that happened with regards to the crime, so we can bring closure to this matter.
Young Brittany sat in a hospital bed for years before finally succumbing to her injuries. We need to find whoever did this to her and make sure they don't get away with it. We need to bring them to justice. Take a good look at these photos. It's possible that these men have information that could help detectives solve this case. If you recognize them, or if you know something about this case, even if it's a small detail, call Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous and be eligible for a cash reward. And we'll be right back with more when we return to Crime Stoppers Case Files. On May 7th, 2010, expectant mother Tyra Jones and her fiance Steve Matthews were found shot to death on Bryce Avenue on Cleveland's east side. Because Tyra was 7 months pregnant at the time and their son was lost, this case is a triple homicide. Unfortunately, there are a lot of unanswered questions, and police have little to go on. Here's the story.
As a child, Tyra was very smart in school. When she got out of school, she went straight to college.
My mom has a total of 3 daughters, and my sister Tyra was the middle. I was the oldest, and sometimes I looked up to her. You know, when she went away to college, me and my children, we moved with her to be near her, and I stayed there through her whole college education because I always wanted to be near her because we've always been together. She graduated from Central State University, and she had her bachelor's in computer science and mathematics, and she was just attending Cleveland State University to receive her master's.
We knew she was just that special child. You know, she just stood out. She was really smart, really energetic, just a beautiful girl.
She wanted to achieve as much as she possibly could. She was always on the go and just had that fire in her that most people don't, you know, that people like.
She always a fun person, you know. Tyra gonna make some jokes. She always try to find me somebody. Even when she a little girl, she used to, Mama, find your boyfriend.
She was an opinionated person. She liked to tell you what she thought. I felt as if she was my angel. She wouldn't let somebody just like bully you. She would speak up for you, you know.
She inspired us to want to do more and to try new things. She was just a born leader.
People just always liked her. There was very, very few people that didn't.
I met Steve when I was away at school, and I would come back up to the weekend and visit her. And they had been engaged for maybe about 6-7 months. He seemed like he was a pretty genuine person. As I got to know him, you know, he told us that he had a daughter and he was from Jamaica. He had, you know, he was kind of family oriented, but he was just here trying to make a better life for him and his family, so.
In front of people, so it wasn't hidden. They seemed to have a basic relationship like any normal couple, you know.
She's just like, I have a secret. And I'm like, you know, what's the secret? And the first thing I said, are you pregnant? And we just started laughing. And she was like, how did you know?
It's like overnight. Her belly just got huge all of a sudden. And the baby was growing, she was healthy. You know, she had been sickly in the beginning, but she seemed to come around and she was ready to be a mom.
And she was, you know, almost 30 and hadn't had any kids yet. So, I mean, this was like the most exciting thing, so.
Cleveland EMS and fire. What's your emergency?
Well, somebody's laying out front of my house. We heard some gunshots. There's no movement. He's laid on my tree line.
Okay, how old does he appear to be? Is it a male?
I haven't really looked at him up close.
Okay, can you tell if he's conscious?
No, he don't look conscious.
Do you know when this happened?
About 5 minutes ago.
Okay, and do you know where the people are that did this?
No.
Is there any serious bleeding?
Yep, look like in the head, all over the torso.
All right, well, we're on our way. I'm going to get the police department over there also, but if you can just stay with them until the paramedics get there, we appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
On Friday, May 7th, 2010, at approximately 10:20 p.m., the location of 15910 Bryce Avenue in the city of Cleveland, our victims, Tyra Jones and Robert Smith, also known as Steve Matthews, were found shot to death at that location. We believe that Tyra Jones sat in the vehicle while Robert Smith got out to talk to some people on the street. Shortly thereafter, there was an argument and some shots were fired. As Robert was being shot, Tyra Jones observed what was going on, attempted to get out of the vehicle and flee, where she was shot down the street herself. Steve Matthews' body was located on the tree lawn. There were several gunshot wounds to the body. Also, several .45 caliber cases lying next to the body. Our other victim, Tyra Jones, was lying in the street next to a van. She had one gunshot wound to the head. And the sad part about this, Ms. Jones was 7.5 months pregnant. And under Ohio law, the unborn fetus is considered a victim. So what we have here is a triple homicide.
Whoever called the police didn't know that she was out there. They were calling the police for him. She's 6 months pregnant. Well, she's tired. She's not able to run. You know what I'm saying, really?
Next thing I know, I just hear this loud banging on the front door. I saw the 2 detectives, and they like Tyra and Steve were killed. I just felt like a whole lot of breath just kind of left me. Like, it was just really, really hard to believe it.
And before I know it, I just ran to the porch and started screaming because I just knew this wasn't the right person he was talking about.
We'll be right back with more on this story when we return to Crime Stoppers Case Files.
Crime Stoppers is an international organization dedicated to bringing resolution to unsolved crimes. Members of the public work with police to make the world a safer place. Since 1975, thousands of Crime Stoppers organizations worldwide have helped make over 1 million arrests. Crime Stoppers acts as your advocate, keeping you anonymous and ensuring that your information gets to the right law enforcement agency.
Welcome back to Crime Stoppers Case Files. We now return to our story.
On Friday, May 7, 2010, at the location of 15910 Bryce Avenue, Tyra Jones, her unborn child, her fiancé Robert Smith, also known as Steve Matthews, were shot to death, which makes this a triple homicide. Steve Matthews' body was lying on the tree lawn of that location. There were several .45 caliber casings lying next to his body. Tyra Jones was found lying in the street next to a van. She was observed shot in the head. On that evening, there was a power outage on that street. According to witnesses, they heard voices, 3 or 4 different people talking and arguing. And right after that, they heard the gunshots. We have no information about the suspects other than believing that they were black males who wielded probably a .45 caliber handgun, shot our victims with. The victim was a college graduate working on her master's. She was working and she also had a baby on the way. It's a very, very tragic situation.
I just don't understand how somebody could do her like that. A pregnant woman just left her in the middle of the street. I'm so angry about this.
Right now, our family is real tore up about this because I lost my grandson and my daughter. And I do want everybody to know that we did love Steve, so this man just have changed all our lives with this.
This has been real tragic for the family. And our grandson that was not born, that hurts. Just to know the fact that somebody can just kill these people in cold blood, a pregnant woman, leave her just like she's a piece of meat.
I mean, you don't even know what you took from us, from me and my family. This girl was really special to us.
We're asking anybody has any information in connection with this homicide to please call our office. I'm Detective Michael Smith, and my partner is Detective Wally Everett.
Because I know there's this no snitching thing, but this is something that deserves attention, and we demand an attention. And I would like to see this person who did this so he can look at us in our face and see the pain that we're going through and see how hurt we are.
Police are working hard to find out what happened to Tyra Jones, Steve Matthews, and the unborn baby Tyra was carrying, and to bring their killers to justice. If you know anything at all that could help detectives solve this case, we need you to step up for your community. Thank you once again for joining us for another episode of Crime Stoppers Case Files, where you are empowered to help clean up our streets. Remember, our towns and our neighborhoods are a direct reflection of what we allow them to be. So let's all do our part to make them safe. And we'll see you next week for another edition of Crime Stoppers Case Files.